There are 4 types of categorical propositions. If you write them at the corners, you've got yourself a square. This is called the square of opposition. And it turns out that now the categorization system starts to pay off, because it emerges that there are some interesting, well, I'm going to say they're interesting, logical relationships that go on amongst members of this square. One of these, you should be familiar with this, is contradiction. Contradictions or contradictories. Let's say 2 propositions are contradictories. Let's say contradictories, that's what I should say. Contradictories. What does it mean to say 2 propositions are contradictory? Yes?
You can't have all as...
Don't give examples.
They can't be true at the same time.
They can't be true at the same time. Say more.
Respect.
And, well, let's say if 2 propositions are contradictory and I know one of them is true, what do I know about the other one?
It's false.
It's false. And what if I know the first one is false? No, it's true. So they can't both be false either. So you might just say they must have opposite truth values. Now, A types have a contradictory that is one of the other 3. Guess which one without looking? E. E looks like a good candidate. So, for example, if I say that all whales are mammals is true, what do I know about the statement no whales are mammals? It's false. But that's not enough. So they can't. We've shown that they can't both be true, but that's not enough. It has to be impossible for them both to be false. But think of this example. Is it true that all cats are cute? No. Even I, lover of cats that I am, I have to say there are some butt ugly cats, right? I hate the ones without fur. Mr. Bigglesworth, for example, if you've seen the Austin Powers movies. So it is not. It is false that all cats are cute. What is the truth value of no cats are cute?
Also false.
It is also false, because there are plenty of cute cats. Just look at the internet, if you can get past the pornography. So they are both false. What does that prove? They are not contradictory. So the contradictory of A is not E. What is the contradictory of A?
O.
It is O. If it is, what is the way to prove it false that all swans are white? You just need to find, how many non-white swans do you have to find? Just one. So to prove an A-type false, you just need to prove an O-type true. They are contradictories. And it works this way as well. So these are contradictories. Which tells you if you know the truth value of this one, you automatically know the truth value of this one. Okay? Which is good, because what we're trying to do in logic is we're trying to find out what you can deduce from what you already know. Logic will teach you new stuff on the basis of what you already know. That's how Sherlock Holmes works. Okay, so contradictories. Now, there are 3 other relationships that I'm going to zip through in double quick time. The next one is called contraries. Now, contraries is simply can't both be true, but all other combinations are possible. So in other words, they can't both be true. You can't have true, but you can have true-false, you can have false-true, and you can have false-false. You just can't have true-true. We should already know what 2 are contraries, A and E. Because we established that they can't both be true, but then we gave an example where they can both be false. So they can't be contradictories, but they can be contraries. Now, we can have a case where they're both false, as in all cats are cute is false and no cats are cute is false. We can have a case where one is true and the other is false. All whales are mammals is true, no whales are mammals is false. We could have it the other way around. All whales are reptiles is false, no whales or reptiles is true. So all those are possible. What you can't have is all whales and mammals true at the same time. No whales and mammals is true. All right, now I'm going to be lazy, but you can't because you don't have chalk. Sub-countries can't both be false, but all other possibilities are there. Guess which two are sub-countries? And the name kind of gives it away. What's that?
I-N-O.
I-N-O. Yes, it's underneath the countries. So those are sub-countries. They can both be true, like some cats are cute and some cats are not cute. Those are both true. So they can both be true, they just can't both be false. If you know that it's false that some cats are cute, you know that the other one, it must be true that some cats are not cute. Or whatever. Finally, there is this relationship. It is different from all the others. Just look at it and you can tell me the difference. Look at my diagram. What is the difference? It only goes one way. So O is the this is subalternate. O is the subalternate of E, because the one that is on the bottom is the sub. E is not the subalternate of O. There is no name for the relationship between E and O. O is the subalternate of E, but not vice versa. Subalternate. Here's what subalternate does. If the universal is true, the particular is true. If it's true that all whales are mammals, it must be true that some whales are mammals. Again, sometimes we think, well, if you say some whales are mammals, you're kind of implying that some whales are not mammals. But don't think of it this way. Suppose I give you a bag of marbles and you take one out and it's white. Would you know that all marbles in the bag are white?
No.
Would you know that some marbles in the bag are white? Yes. Would you know that some marbles in the bag are not white? No, you wouldn't. You would just know that some marbles in the bag are white. Okay. If I tell you all marbles are in the bag are white, would you know that there's at least one? Yes. Okay, so if the top one is true, the bottom one is true. Suppose the top one is false. Did I tell you the bottom one is false? No, it's false that no cats are cute, but it's true that some cats are not cute. Okay, but if the bottom one, if the particular is false, what do you know? Why? Exactly. Because if this is true, this would have to be true. So if this isn't true, then this one can't be true. Because if it was true, this would be true. Right. Okay, so the universal is false. What were we learning about last time?
We're about vowels.
Yeah, we were learning vowels. No, I don't think we were learning about vowels.
The square of opposition.
The square of opposition. Yes, that's what we learned last. What is the square of, what is at the corner of the square of opposition? All of them are
Vowels.
categorical propositions. All right. How many types of categorical propositions are there? 4. This is the quantity. What are the two categories of quantity?
Universal.
Universal and particular. This is what? Quality. And what are the two categories of quality?
Affirmative or negative?
Affirmative and negative. That's right. Affirmative and negative. All right. So this would be universal affirmative. How do you say that? All. Keep going. All S or P. What do S and P refer to?
Subject, predicate.
And subject and predicate are both what kind of thing? They're called terms. What does it refer to? What are terms? Categories, yeah, hence categorical propositions. Groups of things. Okay. Universal negative is?
No SRP.
No SRP. Now I want a chorus here. Particular affirmative is? That's pathetic. Some S R P. All right, a better chorus this time. Particular negative. Good. Some S are not P. Now, the vowel part was the abbreviations by which we refer to these. Universal affirmative is good. Now, turns out categorical propositions can be expressed in many non-standard ways. These are what is called the standard forms for categorical propositions. What is the one change I need to make if I say all frogs are green? Why is that not quite in standard form? Green things, that's right. Even though it looks like this, we need both of the terms have to be groups of things. And if one of them is just an adjective that's not good enough, you have to turn it into a group of things by adding the word things. All right. But it turns out there are plenty of non-standard ways of expressing categorical propositions. But if you're expressing a categorical proposition, it will be one of these four, even if it doesn't look like it. So you have to be able to convert it from the non-standard into the standard. Suppose I were to say, there aren't any pink spiders. Which of the four types is that? There aren't any pink spiders. E. If it is E, then you will say no, and then the subject class. What?
Spiders.
Spiders. Now why is that a little weird? Because I said spiders second, didn't I? I said there aren't any pink spiders. But you just know that spiders is the subject. So no spiders are pink things. Good. So you are able to convert non-standard categorical propositions into standard form. Because you're natural logicians. Now, the square of opposition. Yes. So, erase the square of opposition and draw out a new one. So the square of opposition is when we put each of the four types of categorical propositions at the corner of a square. Square of opposition. Turns out there are logical relationships amongst these. What is this one?
Contradictories.
Contradictories. What does that mean?
They must have opposite truth values.
Yes, so if you know the truth value of this one, you know that this one has to be the opposite. If this is true, this is false. If this is false, this is true. What is this one?
Contraries?
No.
Contradictory.
Also contradictories, yes. So there are two contradictories. What is this one? Somebody hasn't said anything yet.
Contrary.
Contrary. What does contrary mean? Now you're sorry. Now you're sorry you said it.
That they can't be both true.
Right, but they can be any other combination.
Yeah.
Yes, because this means they can't both be true, but it also means they can't both be false. Whereas contrary, they can both be false. So you just can't have true. You can have any other combination. So if I know this is true, what do I know about this one?
False.
It must be false. Why? Because they can't both be true. Right, that's contrary. But if I know this is false, what do I know about this one? Yes, in fact, I don't know anything about this one because it could be true or false. You can have, for example, this is possible, as in the example of cats and cute things. It's false that all cats are cute, but it's also false that no cats are cute. Whereas it could be this combination, it's false that all whales are reptiles, it's true that no whales are reptiles. So it depends on what we're talking about. So if you know that that's false, that doesn't tell you what this is. Okay? All right. What is this relationship? Subcontrary. And what does that mean?
They can't both be false.
They can't both be false. That's right. So if I know that this is false, what do I know about this one? It must be true, because they can't both be false. But if I know that this one is true, what do I know about this one?
Either false or
Yes, I don't know anything, because any other combination is possible. The only one that is ruled out is false, false. But you can have false, true, you can have true, true, you can have true, false. All right then, what is this relationship? There isn't one. I tried to trick you, but you didn't fall for it.
like that last time.
That's the relationship. It goes that way. What's that called?
Subaltern.
Subalternate. Which is the subalternate of which? Yes, think sub means under. So which one's underneath? O is. So O is the subalternate of E, but E is not the subalternate of O. I is the subalternate of A, but not vice versa. All right. What is subalternate? What does it mean? Means if the universal one is true, then the other one has to be true. Yes, now let me say a little bit about this. So what this means is if we know all whales are mammals, we know it's true that some whales are mammals. And on the face of it, that sounds right, but we might think, well, that's a little odd. You don't say, I don't know, some men are humans. Well, you might, but that would be a diss on some men you know. You would say some, and some are animals. Well, humans are animals, but... because in the way we normally speak, if you say some something or something else, it sort of carries the implication that some aren't. But in logic, it doesn't. So think of it this way. I hand you a bag of marbles. It's clearly full of marbles. You reach in, you take out a red marble. Okay? Do you know it's true that some of the marbles in the bag are red? And remember, some means at least one.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Do you know that some are not?
No.
No, you don't. So all that some SRP means is there is at least one S that is P. It doesn't mean that there are any that are not. It doesn't carry that implication. It just knows that it means there is at least one that is. Okay? So if we know all whales are mammals, do we know that there's at least one whale that's a mammal? Of course we do. So that's why subalternate works. All right. So if I know this is true, I know
True.
this is true. What if I know this is false? What's that? Well, let's think about it. What is the truth value of all whales are reptiles? False. What is the truth value of some whales are reptiles? False. So that combination is possible. But does it happen every time? Well, what is the truth value of all cats are cute? False. What is the truth value of some cats are cute? True. Uh-oh. So it is possible to have that combination. So if we know this is false, what do we know about this one?
It's also false.
What have I just done?
It could be true or
It could be true or false. In other words, we don't know. So this being false doesn't tell us anything about this one.
So the only thing we really know is that if it's true, then other
Well, that actually tells, so we know that if this is true, this has to be true, right? Suppose we know that this is false.
Then that would have to be false.
Then this would have to be false. Why? Because we know that if this is true, this has to be true. So if this isn't true,
Then that would be
then that one can't be true. Because if it was true, this would be true. But it isn't. So this one can't be true. Right? Logic. Right? Yeah, if this is true, this has to be true. So if this isn't true, well, this can't have been true.
So it only depends on A.
Well, no, because if you know what this one is, if you know this one is false, it tells you that this one is false. If you know this one is true, you know this one is true. But the other two don't tell you anything. So suppose I know this one is true. It doesn't tell you what this one is. Remember, so if I've handed you a bag of marbles, you've taken out a red one. Do you know that some marbles in the bag are red? Yes, so you know that this is true. Do you know that all marbles in the bag are red? No, you don't. All right. Let's put these logical relationships into action. Let's say S in this case, so, oh, by the way, all of this assumes that S and P is the same for all four of them. I mean, obviously, knowing the truth value of all whales and mammals doesn't tell you the truth value, anything about the truth value of some cats are cute, right? It has to be that they're talking about the same terms. All whales are mammals, some whales are not mammals. All right, let's say, imagine that S is blurps. So, all blurps are flinky things. Turns out that's true. On a piece of paper now, work out the truth value of the other three. Work out the truth value of no blurps are flinky, some blurps are flinky, and some blurps are not flinky. Everybody, what is the truth value of E?
False.
How do you know?
Contrary to each other.
Because of the relationship contrary. You know the truth value of the contrary of this one. And you know, furthermore, you know that it's true. So why does that tell you that this one has to be false? Because they can't both be true. That's what contrary is. Okay, good. Everybody, what is the truth value of O?
False.
False. Everybody, you agree? How do you know that?
Because A and O are contradictories.
Because A and O are contradictories. That's right. So whatever. Now, suppose you just knew that this was false. Well, actually, we'll come to that. What about I? Everybody? True. Now, there are three ways you could know that. What is one way? And so you know by what relationship? Subalternate. So you know that the universal is true, so by its subalternate will be true. What is another way you could have known that I was true?
E is false.
By, what is false? E is false? Okay, so you know that this is by what relationship? Contradictory. So in other words, you know that the contradictory of I is false, so I must be the opposite of that. Yes. What is the third and final way you could have worked out the truth value of I? Subcontrary. You know that the subcontrary of I is false, and you know that they can't both be false, so this has to be true. Yeah? Oh, I'm sorry. Just getting word. Apparently, we were wrong. This is false. Well, you know, we're working on the cutting edge of biological science here, so. Now work them out. We know that A is false. What do we know about O, everyone?
True.
Why do we know that?
Contradictory.
Because they're contradictories. Has to be the opposite. All right. Who can tell me the truth value of E? Raise your hand if you think you know the truth value of E. Yes,
It's
Karen.
false.
You say that it is false. How do you know?
Because if O is false, no.
But O is not false.
No, we don't know that yet.
Well, we know that it isn't.
Yeah, we do know it is. It's true. I know that because because A and E are contraries. And
Now, what is it to be contrary?
they can't both be true, but they can both be false. And so,
But they can both be false, but they could also be false and true.
okay. I suppose I don't know.
Okay. Anybody think they do now? Is it you say that it's true? Why do you say that it's true?
Just
Because it wasn't false?
yeah, but that's what I thought at first. Just because that would be like A,
Yeah.
I has to be true, and then it would be
I has to be true. Wait a minute. Why does I have to be true?
That's what I think.
In fact, what is the right answer?
You know.
We don't know. We don't know. Why? Well, this one doesn't tell you because they can both be false, like all cats are cute is false, no cats are cute is false. Or, but maybe blurps and flinky things are like whales and reptiles. All whales are reptiles is false, but no whales are reptiles is true. So you don't know if blurps and flinky things are like cats and cute, in which case they're both false, or are like whales and reptiles, in which case this one would be true. You don't know. Could be either. Both opportunities are left open. You only write in the truth value when you know it can only be that. You don't say, might be that. It's not good enough. So you know for sure that this one is true, because contradiction never lets you down. What about I? Also don't know. Of course, if you did know I, you could work out E. But sadly, you don't know I. Why not? Why can't you work it out with subcontrary?
Because they just both can't be false.
Yes, all you know with subcontrary is they both can't be false. But true, false, and true, true are both equally possible, and you don't know which it is. So in fact, you can only work that one out. Logic. Funny stuff. I didn't say it was fun. I said it was funny. But not funny, to quote Ralph Wiggum. All right. Yeah, there are some examples in the book. So, for example, what is the relationship between these two? All S are P, some S are not P. What is the relationship between those two?
Contradictory.
Contradictory. So if the first one is true, the second one is
False.
false. All right. No S are P. Some S are not P. What's that? Which is the subalternate of which? Some S are not P is the subalternate of all S are P. But all of no S are P. But no SRP is nothing to some S are not P. There's no name for that relationship. But if I know that no SRP is true, what is the truth value of some S are not P?
True.
Is he right?
Yep.
Yes, he is, because we know that if the universal is true, the particular is true. All right, suppose I know that some S are not P is false. Do I know the truth value of no SRP?
No.
Who said yes? And what, so if some S are not P is false, what is the truth value of no SRP? Yes. Remember? If the particular is false, you know that the universal is false. I mean, if you know that some cats are reptiles is false. I'm sorry, if you know that some cats are not mammals is false. You know that no cats are mammals has to be false. You do. You may not know you know that, but you do. All right, let's move on. I mean, there are questions like that on the homework. If you're struggling with them, Eric is your man. Or you can email me and ask me about them. But there's going to be questions like that where it's asking you to work out the truth value of one out of the truth value of other. And it will either be false, true, or question mark. If you know this is false, you don't know what this is. If you know this is true, you know that this one is false. Yeah?